Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Eva Marie Everson. I am the CEO of Word Weavers International. So many times we are asked, how do online groups work? Or even, how does critique work? So I've asked a few of my friends if they will join me today in showing you exactly what it's like when we do a critique. So we are a part of page 6. We are in various parts of the United States and in Italy. Pam is in Italy. That's why online groups works for us. Susan is in Kentucky and Kim is in Mississippi. I am in Florida. We do have members from all over the world who use online groups. So what you're going to see today is actually just a sample of what we do. We're going to begin with Susan coming in on the end of a piece that we just critiqued for me. We were just in our page 6 group. You are going to note that Kim is our president, so she's leading the group, but you will also notice that behind Pamela's head, there is a screen that's letting us know how much time is going by once the critique begins. There are a few other things I want you to notice as well, but we'll talk about that after the critique. So let us begin.
Susan, you're muted.
Thanks. He slid his plate over to the edge of the table. If you must know, I reckon it took Uncle Sam a minute to find me. A man's got to register and all that, but you know, what with Daddy getting killed and us moving to Uncle Gene's. Then he grinned. But once he found me, he extended his arms in a look at me gesture. Well, he found me. He placed his elbows on the table, which, as it turns out, is not an altogether bad thing. I needed the army, the discipline. I caught the eye of our waitress, Sandy, and waved her over. What you need, Miss Beth? She asked, her stubby pencil and pad ready for the order.
Thank you for reading, Susan. We appreciate that. All right, we're going to take a few minutes just to collect your thoughts, look up anything in the dictionary or the Chicago manual if you need to at this time. And I've put the critique order in the chat, so if you'll refer to that, and we'll just go from one person to the next. I'm first up, so we're just going to skip that part about taking a pause. Eva, I enjoy this so much. I can't wait for you to have the book out. This reads so easily. It's like slipping on a warm winter sweater. I'm ready to just sit here and be cozy for a while. In line 6, I love this, a safe place for us both to land. What a great way to say that. And again, in 12, my smile now growing wide within our truce. I just love how you worded that. In line 11, the word maltits was different for me. I noticed it wasn't in the dictionary, but maybe that's just kind of a regional dialect kind of thing. I felt like in line 11, you could leave out to you at the end of that. Just how does a thick, juicy burger sound? Going on over to 31, you say what I'd begun to feel for this man who'd invaded my home less than a week ago. Wow, it's hard to believe this whole story has been just a week. There's so much that's happened. I love this comfortableness that you're showing between Marty and Beth. What a great job. Line 33 through 35, just this memory of them laughing in the Piggly Wiggly parking lot together. So good. In line 39, I felt like you could leave out it in all day. I pulled my hair from the chignon I'd worn all day. Just a thought. And 42, very telling when Beth says, but I felt 17 again, 18 tops, maybe 20. There's just so much going on. She's feeling younger, but oh, maybe not that young. In 45, I thought you could tighten it up and just say I returned downstairs where Marty waited and leave out for me. In 46, the word aftershave is one word. Curtsy, I looked that up and just saw that spelling with the EY at the end is less common. Then in 49, for an old girl, that just struck me because, you know, she's already struggling with her age. Molly has said that she's nigh 28, and then she's thinking about feeling younger, and then we're an old girl. And then in 51, I was surprised about her putting the ring in the junk drawer, the ring in its box in the junk drawer. And I felt like that was really telling about how she's doing as far as she processes this. In 56, you use the word managed, and then you used it again in 61. So I didn't know if maybe the second time, maybe you just wanted to say we avoided talking. I did wonder, what does Beth think about how he's eating this fries? It just seemed like Beth might have some commentary about him dipping them and breaking them off like that. I really love 71 through 74, about how she's noticing how his face changes, and that sometimes when he's talking about his childhood, there's the pain that casts great shadows across his face, and other times the joy of boyhood burst forth. I just really loved how you worded that. One thing you might consider in 76 is putting a period after mechanics, deleting the word and starting what he didn't teach me and what I didn't learn in the filling station I worked in over at Opelika, the Army filled in, just as a way to break up a pretty long sentence there. Maybe it was just me, but when we got to 79, he drew on the blue and white striped paper straw. I was imagining him drawing like with a pencil. I don't know if there's another word you might want to use. Also, you may have noticed this, but there's an extra space after the hyphen after blue. And then I think there needs to be one after and. So there you go. I'm just really enjoying this. And let's see. Yeah, my time is almost up. So such a good story, Eva. So good. I love the last line. It just really sets the scene. Great job.
Eva, I love reading the interactions between your characters. In this scene, we really see a playful teasing moment between Beth and Marty, and they're both trying to get over the awkwardness of that kiss they just had. And so we see Marty in line 7 saying, "I could eat the bark off every tree in the backyard if you cooked it just right." And then a little further in line 18 and 19, "I raised my hand in a mock salute. Yes, ma'am." And she saluted me back. So you see this, just they're playful, they're trying to kind of overcome the awkwardness of a little bit earlier, and they're just falling in love. It's just wonderful. And I love the gestures that you use with your characters. Each gesture really conveys their personality. So in line 9, we see Beth patted the back of her hair as if to make sure not a strand was out of place. And that just cements in my mind that she's an educated, classy lady. She has good manners. And then in contrast, we see Marty dipping his French fries in, double dipping, and just tearing them with his fingers. And we see that cements in my mind the idea he's a working class man. He's kind of got a rural upbringing. And it just really brings them to life in a very natural way that I can picture in my mind. One comment I had for constructive criticism was line 58. You describe a select few had found a corner to dance along to its beat. And I thought that maybe could be tightened a little bit. The word select few, I just kind of got caught up on that. I thought maybe a handful of people, or just another way to describe that small group. I agree with Kim in line 49, the banter that he calls her an old girl. I was thinking, whoa, that's a little nervy to say that to someone you're flirting with. But again, it's this kind of banter going back and forth between them. I thought that was nice. In line 76, 77, and 78, we have a paragraph where he's describing his background in mechanics. And I just thought that section could be tightened a little bit. I wasn't sure if you wanted to focus most on Chloe and his background in teaching Marty, because then the moment about the filling station in Opelika, it just kind of distracted me a little bit. I thought that maybe could be tightened. And then in line 80, I wanted to ask about the paper straw. Is that a time period specific thing?
Yeah, actually it is. It's kind of funny that we've gone,
Wow.
we went to plastic and then we've gone back to paper, but this is 1962 and I did my research and then my memory in, and yes, thank you for asking. It is
Oh, okay.
at the time.
Yes, because I was like, wait, is this California 2022 or in the past? But that's cool. So we came full circle. Thank you. Another comment I had was in line 87. You use, I drew on my own malted, and then earlier, I think Kim also commented on drew in line 79. And for me, that gave the picture of like a really deep, like drink. But I thought for Beth, since she's kind of the elegant lady, she would sip her straw, not necessarily draw on it. And just to conclude, I love the ending scene where Beth starts to catch on that there's something a little suspicious. She's starting to think of something's a little strange with Marty's story. You say in line 99, I shook my head as if I were trying to push away the cobwebs. That really was a beautiful gesture, and I could picture it. And I like in line 108, the waitress's stubby pencil. I can just picture her with that little nub of pencil taking down their order. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm up. Eva, I love all the delicious details of this story. I love knowing that I'm going to know what Beth is wearing, how she fixed her hair, what it looks like. It's like a movie that I can watch by reading. So I just love that you always give us all those details. I have several smiley faces things around. Line 23, when they separate after the kiss and they decide to go out for cheeseburgers, Marty runs and collapses on his bunk and reaches for his Bible. So we see that he's a person of faith. That's the first thing he reaches for. And a little bit in contrast to Beth, who didn't go get her Bible. She's up there feeling her lips and thinking about the kiss. Line 42, this is so relatable that she felt 18, 17, maybe 20. And I think we've all, as you get older in your heart, if you take that temperature, yeah, you're a lot younger than your body tells you are. Let's see. I also noticed line 49, the old girl comment. Line 53, I told him as I loop my arm with his, I think they loop one arm, not two. Line 59, we ordered cheeseburgers. I think you could cut out that and just for a little bit of tightening, cheeseburger fries and vanilla malteds. On line 68, another place you could tighten a little bit. He's talking about how old he was when he decided he loved mechanics. He says my 7th birthday in 67 twice. So I think you could get rid of the sentences there that say 7th or 8th, he shrugged. And just that you would still definitely know what is going on there. I also, the paragraphs that start in line 71, that paragraph of how Beth observes his face. I think that's just what young lovers do, right? You can't take their eyes off of what are they thinking? What is their face doing? I just love that detail. That's young love. Line 77, I think you could leave out a piece of that unless the filling station is important to the story. It could just sound like what he didn't teach me, the army filled in. Let's see. On line 90, he blinks. She asks him, why didn't you just stay where you lived? And he just blinks. And that's very indicative, right? That's when somebody is trying to process what was that question. So that hints that there's something more. Then she continues to question him. On line 101, he says, he slides his plate and says, if you must know. So that made me wonder, is he getting irritated with her? She doesn't read it that way because she calls the waitress over, and if she had seen the signs, she would have zeroed in because that's who Beth is, but she didn't do it. So I just love how you are able to build tension and a love story at the same time. Very nice. Thank you.
Okay, so now you see how a critique group works. There are a few things that I want to point out to you in the next few minutes that we have. Notice that they were calling out line numbers. In Word Weavers, we use line numbers. This prevents us from saying, oh, about halfway down on the page, about 3/4 of the way down on the page, that kind of thing. Also, as the person being critiqued, when I heard it being read out loud and not by me. That's one of the other things we do that's a little different in Word Weavers. When I heard it read out loud, but not by me, I heard repeated words that I want to delete, and sometimes things that the critiquees, the critiquers may not hear, but I now heard it. Also notice that we had print copies. That's important because it saves time, and also because we can make lots of notes on our our own pages here. Also notice this. Everyone commented about the fact that I used the word ole, O-L-E. The way my character said it in my head was this, for an old girl. But everyone read it as if he had said, you're an old girl. So now as the writer, I'm going to take that out. I might have meant it one way. They're reading it another. And the consensus is he said old. So I'm not going to dig my heels in and say, oh, but that's not what I meant. No, I'm going to listen to these people who I trust. Also notice that they all began with something positive and they ended with something positive, but in the middle was the meat of the critique. And there was something that Pamela said that was so telling. She was like, now to really help you. I don't remember the exact words that she said, but basically it's this. We're not here to destroy each other. We're here to build one another up. We are here to make our work the absolute best it can be. Also, you may have noticed that Kim, because she had the longest critique. And that's typically the way it goes. If you agree with someone, you say, I agreed with Kim, I agreed with Susan, or I agree with Pam on line 79. You don't have to repeat it, but now as the writer, I know that everyone is in agreement that this was not the right word or this was the best word, because sometimes we can say that too. I agree with Kim. That was a positive thing to say. So now you know how a critique group works in Word Weavers International. If you would like to know more, please contact me at Word Weavers International, all spelled out, at AOL.com. And this is going to end the recording for now. Thank you again for joining us.